Are you thinking about selling your home here in Houston, Texas, and you have no idea where to start? Well, this video is perfect for you. During this video, I am going to be explaining the entire process from start to finish of how to sell your home in Houston, Texas. So make sure you stick around until the very end because I will be giving tons of detail, and if you miss one step, it can easily cost you thousands. Again, just to give a more formal introduction, my name is Ashley Spates, with the Ashley Spates Realty Group here in Houston, Texas. And on this channel, you will find tons of information where I am educating buyers and sellers about the process of selling your home, buying your home, and all the things in between. So if you want more information like this, make sure you like and follow to be notified whenever a new video drops. Let's dive right in. So one of the first things that I discuss when I am meeting with a client, even if we're in like a pre-listing presentation, or even when they just call me inquiring about the possibility of listing their home, is one of the first things I ask the homeowner to do is request a loan payoff statement from their loan servicer. The reason we want to know that is because we want to know where you are and how much you will be able to net after you sell this home. So for example, it is determining your net is basically saying how much we can realistically sell your home for, take away the remaining amount that you owe on your loan and any other fees and things that you may have, and then that will give us your net. So we want to make sure before we even move forward with putting your home on the market that, one, do you have enough equity in your home for this to be a profitable sale for you? Meaning, will you make money when you sell your home? Because of course, that's the goal, right? Sometimes there's not enough equity where you can walk away with profit and you may only break even. And if so, are you okay with that? Another instance of something that can happen is maybe you don't have enough equity in the home and you may have to pay to get out of your home, So you want to know all of those things before you move forward with just putting it on the market, because we have to make sure that the timing is right for you and your family. So one of the first things that I will always request and advise a seller who is thinking about selling their home is reach out to your loan service provider to ask for that payoff statement. Now, sometimes people don't do that before they reach out to an agent, but I would recommend that you do that just because you want to have an idea, right? Now, after you've kind of got your loan service statement and you have all that information, I would suggest, number one, reach out to a professional licensed real estate agent. The reason being is because selling your home can be a lot. There are a lot of steps that people don't know, or they don't handle property properly, or they don't meet deadlines, and it's just so much going on. The reason you want to hire a professional licensed real estate agent is because, one, we study this market that we're in. So we're able to see what is trending right now. How long are the homes staying on the market in your area? What's a realistic time frame? What's a realistic sales price? We are knowledgeable about all of that. We know how to handle and negotiate buyers when they come. We know, how to negotiate once we get to the inspection. We just know how to help you navigate and guide you through that entire process, because it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming sometimes. And so our job is to educate, advise, and be that buffer between another party for a smooth transaction. So if you don't have a real estate agent, I would love to be your agent. Feel free to comment below and reach out to me. And if you already have a great real estate agent, that is so perfect. I pray that everything continues to go well for you. Now, after you hire your real estate agent, what's going to happen is you all will have a more thorough seller's consultation. In this consultation, the realtor will share with you some comps. What that means is they are showing you comparable properties that have sold that are similar to your property near your area, in your subdivision, maybe very close to, if it's not in your subdivision, but maybe close to like the subdivision surrounding it, because we want to make sure we price your property correctly. Sometimes some sellers say, hey, list my property for way, way, way higher than anything has ever sold for, and then we can always negotiate. Well, what happens with that is that your property ends up staying on the market way longer than it has to. And once it starts staying on the market for an excessive amount of time that's not normal for that market, then you have buyers getting in their head and they're like, oh, this property's been on the market for 90 days, 75 days, 60 days. Something must be wrong with it. And that may not be the case. It just may because maybe, that seller started off with the wrong strategy and started out too high. Whereas if it's priced correctly, it will attract the right buyers and more buyers. So during that consultation, again, your seller will review comps with you. They will work on establishing the sales price for your property. Of course, your agent and you will discuss that together based on the comps that are provided. Now, taking it into consideration, we know that your agent and you will be reviewing comps. Another thing to take into consideration while establishing this sales price is going to be the age of your home, the condition of your home, the types of upgrades that you have done to the home. Those are all factors that will help establish a realistic sales price. So you can look at the comps, of course, but that's just a start. But then you take a deeper look into like the age and condition of the other homes as well as it relates to your home. Now that you and your agent have established a sales price, what's going to happen next is your agent is going to begin to put the marketing plan for your home into play. So part of that marketing plan is typically having a photographer and videographer come out to get really great pictures and videos of the home and preparing it to get listed on the MLS. Now, while your agent is in the midst of scheduling these different photographers and videographers to come capture these amazing videos of your home, there are some things that you have to do as a seller as well before we even have the photographer and videographer come out. One of those things is going to be decluttering. You want to declutter your home as much as you possibly can. This is the time in which you want your home to be pristine. You want everything to look perfect. We want these buyers when they come in your home to feel like, oh my gosh, I can really see myself and my family living here. And oftentimes people are distracted when there's too much clutter. So one of the things you want to do, again, is declutter. You want to have some really, really deep cleaning taking place in the home. And we may even need some staging to happen inside the home. However, that is going to be part of the marketing plan to get your home sold for top dollar. But as a seller, you have to do your part as well by decluttering, cleaning the home out, and making it perfect. Another thing that I do for my sellers is that I provide them with a checklist from my photographer. And the reason I do that is because that checklist is directly from the photographer telling the homeowners what they can do to help the photographer capture the best images of their home. If you want that checklist, just comment and I'll email that right out to you. That's very easy. So that's something that's really important because it will help capture the best images. And of course, most times, the first time that people come across your home and decide that they want to schedule a showing or view it is online via the pictures and videos. So as you are doing that, you're decluttering, you're getting everything ready, your realtor is getting ready to put the home on the market. Another thing that you have to consider if you are a seller and you're still living in the home is that buyers and their agent are going to schedule showings to come into your home. So that is something that you want to think about because you're going to have to figure out how is that going to affect your family. Right? Because maybe you work from home. So you and your agent are going to have to discuss how much notice do you need before a family can come and view the property, or what time can showings start? What times must showings end? Because sometimes if you are still living in your home, those showings feel a little inconvenient. However, it's just part of the process of getting your home sold. Now, again, if you sell your home prior to that happening, then people coming is not as inconvenient. But I just want to throw that out there that that's something that you may want to have a conversation with your family or figure out in your schedule how these showings will look when buyers request to see your property and you're still living there. After you have done your part, the home has been staged, decluttered, cleaned. Now your home is officially ready to be put on the market. So your agent will put this home on the market on the MLS. They may run some type of Google ads, Facebook ads, all kind of sponsored ads to get the property in front of as many eyes as possible. And as long as we're priced correctly, you kind of know, because a lot of times you have a lot of showings right out the gate. It's like bling, 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 bling. You have a lot of showing alerts. Often when you're priced too high and definitely not on par with the market, you won't have showings for quite some time. And that's usually sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes that can be an indicator that maybe you're priced too high. But again, assuming that everything goes according to plan, assuming that we are priced perfectly, what will happen is buyers will start requesting showings to come into the home. And then ones that are interested in the home, what will happen is they will begin to place offers for the home, right? So offers will begin to come in. Now, what happens at that time is your agent and you will review the offers as they come in. And you will review step by step and determining what that means for you. What does each kind of paragraph or request mean from the buyer? And also, essentially, you want to know, based on this offer, how much am I going to net? How much profit will I walk away with based on this offer? So when you get those offers, you don't have to just say, okay, that's an offer, that's it, let's accept it. What happens is you as a seller, you have the option to accept it, meaning, you know what, this is a great, wonderful offer. We don't need to change anything about it. Let's keep it as that. You can accept it. That means everybody signs off on it and execute it, and we're under contract. But maybe you only like some of the terms in the offer, and other terms you're like, I don't really like this. This doesn't work for me. Then at that point, what you can do is you can counter offer. You can say, I'll accept these things, but I need you to change these things. But basically you're counter offering, you're negotiating. Or let's say it's just an offer that you feel is completely insulting, doesn't even deserve really a response. It's way lower than the sales price. It's asking for a lot of concessions. The closing date is far away. Maybe you don't like the loan type that is being offered. You have the option at that point to reject the offer. So when offers come in, you have the option to accept it, counter offer, or reject it. That's what you do. And so let's say it is a situation where you counter offer with a buyer, and you guys may go back and forth until you both counter offer with one another. And then you finally come to terms and you're like, you know what? Yes, I agree. I'm happy. They agree. They're happy. Let's sign off on it. What will happen now is we will execute the contract, meaning we are now officially under contract. It's no longer just an offer from that buyer. We have signed and we have a responsibility of things that we have to do, and the buyers have signed and they have a responsibility of things that they have to do. So once that happens, once you go under contract, the buyers typically have an option period. During that option period, it's typically like 7 to 10 days-ish. I try to keep it closer to 7 if at all possible. So during that option period, basically the buyers, it's what it sounds like. The buyers have a right to terminate this contract during their option period for whatever reason that they may choose, right? So what will happen is that your buyers will go under contract, and then they will hire an inspector. The inspector will come out, inspect the property, and after they inspect the property, they will provide the buyers with an inspection report. And on that inspection report, what's going to happen is it's going to, list some things that may be wrong with the home, some faults, some things that may be deficient in the home. And that's okay. No home is perfect. But with that inspection report, what will happen is some buyers will say, hey, we still want to purchase this home from you. However, can you please fix these items on the inspection report? And at that time, we negotiate again. If they're reasonable items, of course, a lot of times sellers will say, yeah, we will fix them. Sometimes some sellers will say, we won't fix them, but we can give you some closing costs and you can get them fixed yourself. And some buyers will just say no. So at that point, different things can happen. It's like you're back at that accept it, counter, reject it situation. Assuming everything goes well, the buyer and the seller both agree on the repairs, then we are steadily moving our way towards closing. What's going to happen next on the buyer side really is that an appraiser will come out to basically appraise the property to determine the opinion of value for the property. Basically, they are trying to see that are we priced correctly? Essentially, they want to make sure that the buyer is not overpaying for a property. And again, that's not done by anyone the buyer selects. That's not done by anyone the seller selects. That is drawn from an appraisal pool, and it's not selected directly by either party. So it's not like, oh, this appraiser may praise it in favor of the buyer, or they may appraise it in favor of the seller. It's a completely third party, not directly selected by anyone in particular. After that, assuming everything comes back right, the appraisal agrees with us and where the home is priced at, what will happen next is, if we are, then great, we're going to keep moving on to closing. If we are not, we may be back at a situation where we have to negotiate again. Because sometimes appraisals come in and they may not agree with the price that we are under contract with. So for example, let's say we have a property as a seller and we have that property under contract for $300,000, and the appraiser does his report and says that the property is only appraising at $290,000. So as the seller, you can just say, okay, that's fine, I'll sell my property for $290,000. Or you can say, no, I don't want to sell my property for $290,000. I'll sell it for $295,000, and you come up with the other $5,000. Or you can say, I'm not budging on that. And at that point, then the buyers do have the right to terminate the contract in most instances and get their earnest money back. And then we put the home back on the market. So there are different things that can happen, but assuming all is priced right, everything goes well, the appraisal comes back perfectly at value, then at that point we are moving forward towards a smooth closing, towards the closing table. After the appraisal has been done and everything, you of course during this time want to be getting your property packed up to move out of the home so that it is getting ready for closing day, so that the new buyers can take over their home. As you are getting the home ready for the new buyers to take over, the new buyers will be working with their loan officer to make sure they are doing everything they need to do on their side to get the clear to close. And then we are all headed to the closing table. And what happens on closing day is both parties will go to the title company, not at the same time. Typically, you usually have the buyers have their session, the sellers have their session. Once both parties have signed off on everything, all the documents will then be sent to the loan officer for funding, and an email will go out from the title companies. And once you get that email, then the buyers may now have the keys to the home to take possession of the home. So as you can see, selling a home is not like rocket science is hard, but it can be complex, especially if you don't know how to properly navigate each step of the home, which is why I will always suggest for you to hire a licensed real estate professional. Again, to wrap up, if you are looking to sell your home anywhere in this country, I am able to assist you. If you are in Houston especially, and if you aren't in Houston, I have so many referral partners that I can connect you with so that you can have a successful and smooth sales transaction of your home. So if you would love to connect, I would love to work with you. All of my information of ways I can be contacted is below this video. If you want my seller's net sheet or my photography checklist on how to get your home ready to sell, let me know that as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe below so that you are informed whenever a new video drops. And if there's anything that you would love for me to discuss, comment below as well. And I look forward to hearing from you. Again, my name is Ashley Spates with the Ashley Spates Realty Group. Have a great evening.